Hello guys, this is foxcode here, and this is a video response to the first episode of Theorycraft, a new show by Toverish Gaming, to which I was one of the first volunteer participants in. And I've just watched the video, Toverish. It was really good. I think you've got an absolutely brilliant voice for casting, way better than myself. And I just want to have a quick look at the game myself, to be honest, just to cover some little points. Now, of course, if anyone watched this yesterday, and I hope you did because it was really good, if not, go check it out. I'll post a link in the video. The idea was getting 2 diamond players, or similarly leveled players, and putting some really severe unit restrictions on. So, in my case, foxcode, here I am in the bottom left, I could only make Zealots, Templar, and Tempest. Whereas our Zerg Endless in the top right was restricted purely to Hydralisk, Swarmhost, and Broodlord. Now, just pausing a second to think about those unit compositions, I really do think I actually had the advantage for 2 main reasons. One, I could have just 4-gated him with pure Zealots. I think that probably would have killed the Zerg. Without being allowed Lings or Roaches, I just do not see how he would be able to hold that off. I don't think Spinecrawlers would be enough. But I agreed before game that I wasn't going to go all in with Zealot, because I just thought it would take the fun away from it. It's not the point of what we're doing. So that is why that didn't happen. Also, a quick point, I went Gateway first, which slightly confused Toverish, but the reason for that is, when there's no possibility of early Ling or Baneling, there really is no need for a Forge. All I wanted was to get my Templar out as quick as possible to be able to deal with those Hydralisks that deal oh so much damage. So, that's the first point I made. Also, we eventually see a Nidus network from Zerg. He does actually use that, but Toverish was covering a different area of the map at the time, and I do have to say this was a mental game. There were little battles going on in 3 or 4 different locations that really messed up my hotkeys trying to keep track of it all. But Endless actually tried to Nidus network my 3rd, and the Nidus Swarm almost popped up, but luckily for me, my Tempest killed the Nidus network just in time. Now, I really liked these 2 Spinecrawlers. I think that's exactly what he needed to do to stop my Zealot harass, and it worked brilliantly. Little Zealot running away there. I'll just slow that down a bit, because the encoder will be having a nightmare. And do you want to know why? Because I didn't set the processor affinity. So they're all fighting for the same threads on the processor, which is not good. So both players take a 3rd fairly quickly, and I thought this was actually going to be quite an even game, but now I think about it, I think I had 1 or 2 other advantages. Primarily, Templar are very, very good against Hydra. Now, it didn't actually come into it that much. I relied more on my Tempest, which is unusual for me. But let's say I do a counterattack with Zealots. To defend that, he's either got to have some Hydra's position back, which is really not ideal, or an awful lot more Spinecrawlers than 2, which he did build later, credit to him. But if he wanted to counterattack me, I mean, Broodlords, they're kind of a siege unit, they're very slow, not very mobile, and also he has his Hydralisk, which, well, they can counterattack, they're really the only thing that can. The Swarmhost, no, again, a big, slow siege unit. But if he counterattacks with Hydralisk, really, I could defend it with a single High Templar at each base, or at least do a huge amount of damage to that force. Now, I actually lost my 4th base because I didn't do that. That was just me being a noob. And yes, Toverish, I did not get these gas geysers for ages. Sorry, I built the geysers, I did not mind from them. It feels very weird being limited to a set of units. Same goes for not building Tempests and getting upgrades when I could. It just isn't... I don't really think macro is a separate thing from your build. I don't really know how to put that. Like, when you play a typical build, you kind of know when you'll be making workers, when you'll be getting your upgrades, and your macro kind of fits together nicely. But when you are just making it up as you go along, basically, because as you know, we had very little preparation time for this, it goes a bit mad. So, I do think I had a slight advantage with my unit composition. Tempest, of course, will destroy the Broodlords, and as soon as I figured out at the end that I can just park High Templar under my Tempest, I really don't think anything he had could have killed that, to be honest. A lot of Swarm Hosts defending here, combined with his whole army, might have worked. To be honest, that's the only way I see it being a fair fight, is if it was the whole Zerg army, all 3 units, against my Tempest and Templar. Zealots would not be that much use at that stage, but I really think the Zerg army was only strong when it was all together, whereas I could do a lot of damage with just a couple of Templar and Zealots running around, so I definitely had the advantage in the harass options, but I think Zerg's main army was strong enough, it just never all seemed to be together to fight. The Broodlords flying off unescorted over here, and by the way, I was not map hacking. I had an observer in this location when those Broodlords moved out, just wanted to pointed out. And since this is a video response, I'm not going to analyse this game. Toverish has already done an amazing job. I just wanted to say one or two things. I look forward to see future episodes of the show, and if I could be involved in any of them, that would be awesome. And oh, one last point. Thank you, Toverish, for mentioning sc2-tournament.com, though it is not actually my website. I am just a caster for that website. But thank you anyway. That's really cool, and we should be starting up our tournaments in HOTS again very soon. And thanks for the show. It's really cool. I hope it goes well for you. See you guys.